motherfucker. You're now tuned into the most unpredictable podcast on the World Wide Web.
About to shut it up.
It's Loud, hosted by Karen Hill. Across all major platforms, and you are locked in.
More locked in.
Pour up a glass of wine, ladies. Let the Henny flow, fellas. And get ready to turn the fucking meter up to rip. It's Karen Hill live on Say It Loud Radio on your favorite internet platform, streaming live.
I get to do this. I get to do this for you, man. I get to do this. It is another episode of Say It Loud podcast with your girl, Karen L. here. And today, in my hot seat, is not only someone I'm really proud of, but also someone I consider a friend of mine. It's Mo the Closer.
Hey,
you could be like a wrestler and like say that. I like that. Mo the Closer.
Mo the Closer.
The Closer is like a big job. You know that, right? It's like they come and clean up all the
mess. They get everything. They're gonna bring it together. You're gonna seal the deal. After you talk to Mo, you know it's done.
Yeah. So Mo, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Whoa. So I am born and raised in Durham, North Carolina. So I just recently moved out to Charlotte. And I'm having a good time. I've been in sales and marketing for almost 20 years, and it's pretty much become my identity. Like if you know Mo, you know Mo's been in like cell phone sales, car sales, furniture sales, even down to I used to sell canned car wash in the snow.
Wow.
Canned car wash in the snow.
That's hustle. Right? That's hustle.
Man.
That's hustle. You hustle every day. I'm hustling.
But now I have a credit repair, business funding, student loan help business. So we're doing pretty good. But it's just like when you say tell you about me, I'm a servant. I'm a servant to people. And, just try to be the best person I can and go from there.
So what has made your drive in sales? Like why'd you pick that?
Because I could always make money from it. Right. Like you have, I remember when, like career day and all that stuff, and the doctors come, the lawyers come, the office assistant comes. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. But then I had my first cell phone job. And I was like, well, I make the type of money that they said that they made. And for me, it's never been like the job. I want the freedom.
Right.
So whatever that vehicle is to get me to the freedom, that's what I want to do. Okay. And it just so happens that I end up with something that I resonate with, which is in like the financial industry. So that's what, that's what it is, right? Not saying, oh, okay, you wake up and you want to be a salesperson. Who does that? Right. But that was actually me. Like I want to be whatever that vehicle is going to get me to the freedom. That's where we're going. But yeah.
How has that journey been?
It's been rough.
Yeah.
It's been rough. Like, especially over the past, like I took a rough path here, right? A lot of people don't know that in 2016, I came home from 3 years, right? So when I came home to my grandma's house and my childhood bed, like sitting in the room, like, what the fuck am I about to do now? Right. And also sales is one of those positions that people don't really ask you a whole lot of questions.
Right.
So you sell it, and I could. And from there, it was like, let me build upon this and let me make sure I'm not out here fucking up anymore. So let me, do the best I can with what I got. And that's how we ended up here.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the company that you started.
So I started doing, I started with cell phone, with a credit repair and like student loan help. So a lot of our clients had student loans. A lot of our clients needed help with like, the $1,000 student loan bills, and they're not sure what to do with their student loans. Nabby has got them in the chokehold, and Sally Mae is kicking their ass and stuff like that. So that we had a call center in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I had a call center in Tampa, Florida. And I did that for 8 years. But from there, I wanted to move into something where I would be able to get to know my clients just a little bit more, because I knew that student loans were only a part of their financial problem.
Right.
And a lot of clients, they were trying to purchase a home and they needed credit repair or they needed help starting a business. So I became that go-to for them. But like through all of that, Kay, like when I'm telling you just all of that journey, all of that is the what happened.
Right.
And the what really matters is what it feels like right now. Like I'm not even gonna front. It's been a rough road, right?
Right.
And but I really want to reflect on like how we met.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Right?
Okay.
Because I love the line of questioning, who are you, Mo?
Yeah.
And blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah,
See,
blah.
we
Let's look
talked
at all
about that
shit
though.
up. You know what I'm
So
saying? I love all of
how
that.
did we meet?
We met online. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell y'all this dope story. I was scrolling one day on IG and it was on Fuckery Friday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this post made me laugh. And I said, well, let me get some more of this. You know how it is when you're scrolling on IG.
Yeah.
And you're like, let me get some more of this. And I'm like, it's post after post after post going from entertainment to, oh, this is like funny. Let me share this.
Right.
To, oh, this is real. So
Right.
I felt like I got you in real life.
Yeah.
I got you being funny. And I got you saying some real shit, but it was funny.
Yeah.
So then even just hopping in your DMs, like, wait a minute, how can I support you? Like, what
Yeah.
you got something good
You
right
did.
here. I
Yeah.
like this. I like this. Like,
Yeah.
you funny as hell. Like, I like this. And I
Yeah.
had my friends following you, and we're at work talking about, did you hear Kay's show? And you know, we were in there, right?
Wow.
And then that was like you came out with the first merch line. And I grabbed that hoodie, and to today, it's my favorite hoodie. My favorite hoodie, closet full of hoodies, but that's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I appreciate you also, right? Because you've been really supportive as well. And even down into like, I know when I post something and it's like a celebration, I know I'm gonna see your name on it.
Yeah,
And that
for
means a
sure.
lot to me. So just, you know, out loud, thank you.
Yeah, no, I definitely I think for me, so we met online.
Yeah.
You followed me, you slide in my DMs, Kay, where's the fuckery? How we doing? You know, them type of things. But I think what I got from you that's still in my phone is the first, maybe second season, I sent out boxes to the people that had subscribed to my to like my monthly subscription podcast. And I literally handmade everything. There's like t-shirts and key rings and all that kind of stuff in the box. And you made a video. You made a video and it was like, does your favorite podcaster send you a handwritten note? Do you know that's still in my phone? It's still in my phone. Because I kept it. I was like, does your favorite podcaster send you a handwritten note? And I wrote everybody that had subscribed, because really at that point I felt like they were subscribing because they believed in me, you know? And that was their way of showing me that. And so I took my time and curated these little boxes and all. But when you made the video, I think that was like, you know, where it was like, yo, somebody like is feeling this, somebody's acknowledging this, I'm building this connection. And I was like I said, it's still in my phone because I'm so appreciative of those types of things and those types of moments. And you know, that was dope. That was really dope.
Yeah. It was, and it was like I hadn't ever imagine meeting someone online, following their podcast, and they send you a personalized gift.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I didn't look at it like that though, but maybe I should look at it. I just was like, I'm gonna send out a box and I'm gonna order some t-shirts and I'm gonna order all these cutesy things and put in there, just because I felt like I know these people don't have to do this. And because they did, it allowed me, you know, now being hindsight, to do so much more that at the time I was just like, I'm just gonna write these little notes and put them all in there. And I think that when you made that video, I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
We're moving.
Because the value that you were bringing, like, think about, this was even before COVID.
Yeah,
right?
this was before COVID.
Yep, it was before COVID. So think about, everybody thought they were on top,
Mm-hmm.
and you bust out with this podcast, and we've never heard anything like this,
Mm-mm.
right? And
Mm-mm.
it's like, oh, she's on to something with this,
Right.
right? And being able to have that personal connection. And then you
Mm-hmm.
send me a gift box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was sold. I was
Yeah.
sold. You were
Yeah.
the closer at that point.
Yeah. But again, it was really like just from my heart. It wasn't like, it wasn't no marketing scheme. I ain't had no money. It was really like, put the table up, the Thanksgiving table in the living room, and we gonna, make an assembly line. And, we didn't have too many people subscribe, but the people that we did, we were like, all right, I'm gonna invest in them the way they invested in me, and give that back.
And that was appreciated.
Yeah. And so the video, as much as the box is nice, I'm like, but the video of you stopping whatever it is that you're doing and being like, yo, this is what I got. And I got it from my one of the podcasters that I listened to, my favorite podcast. I just thought that in itself was worth it.
Yeah.
That in itself was worth it for me.
What have you learned throughout this whole journey, like through these 5 years, that it's like that one thing?
What have I learned? A lot of things.
Okay.
I learned a lot in 5 years. I learned that if you don't try, you don't even get to fail. So I think that is the number one thing that I learned, because for so long I wanted to do it, and I was like, but it has to be perfect. But who's gonna listen? And you have all these doubts. So I think you just have to go and figure it out, or you're never gonna do it.
That's right.
That's one. Two, I think listening to your gut. I've had people stop me and be like, join my network, or I want to work with you. You could get on my network, or let's do this, or let's do that. And sometimes you have to know when it's good for you and when it's not good for you.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not that I don't want to work with anyone. I just like the creative freedom of doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
So there's that. What else have I learned? Running a business is a lot of work. You know this. I wake up in the morning, say it loud, and I go to sleep at night, say it loud. Say it loud now is like one of my children. It's like my baby, and it becomes it's work. It doesn't feel like work because I love it so much, but it's work, and I'm addicted. So when you see, it's like you get a plant and it's not growing, but then it starts to grow, you go and take care of it more, and take care of it more, and take care of it. So it's definitely that. And I also learned to have healthy boundaries. I had to learn that, because there was one point, Mo, where I was recording every single day. My son's 15, so at the time he was 10. So I was recording every single day, and he'd be like, "Mom, you've been in here all day," and it's 8:00, and I'd be like, I can't take you out because we got to go do this. And, and then the next day will come, and I'm like, I can't take you out because I can't take you to play basketball because I got to do. And I had to learn when to be like, okay, this is real. This is happening. Tuesdays and Thursdays, like, you can't have my schedule because, so it went from being, Save Loud went from being a vision in my head to being a podcast I recorded in my car, to being like a full-blown thing where at some points it felt like it was almost out of my control.
Yeah.
And so I had to, because I wasn't thinking like a business person. I just was like, and I had to step back and be like, okay, how do you run a business like this? Because now we're not just making a podcast, we're running a business, and we're selling merch, and we have interviews, and we have guests, and we're sending thank yous, and we're investing money, and we need an LLC and a tax ID number. And, and so it went from like, yo, let's just turn the record button on to, business bank accounts and those kind of things. So I think also leaning on the people that can support you. I learned that I'm a creative. And in order for me to be creative, I have to be happy and in a healthy space. And so that's another thing for me. Like, I need to be able to, for me to be funny, like I need to be confident and comfortable in whatever. And so sometimes that means being inspired and going for a walk or playing with my grandkids or going to the beach or whatever it is that inspires you. You have to like fill yourself with that so that you could come back and be your best. Because like if I'm not feeling good, then how I'm going to be funny for you?
Right.
So,
It's that that thing where entrepreneurs forget that they have to fill their cup up first.
yeah.
Right. And people in general forget that. But as an entrepreneur, you're expected to bring your product or your service at 100% and you're at 10%. It doesn't work.
But they
It
want
doesn't work.
100% every time.
100%. You got to give,
Yeah.
you got to keep giving them 100%. So you're
Yeah.
going in the negative. And it's the same thing in the bank account.
Yeah.
When I have clients and they're like, well, this was a hobby and it was fun. And I like to bake cupcakes and I like to work on cars. And I'm like, well, all that's great. However, you still have to bring in more money than you're putting out. You still have to have more deposits than withdrawals.
Right.
So you got to find those things. So that's where those boundaries come in at. You got to find those things that's going to place boundaries for you, or have those habits built in, or, put those things. You said the Tuesdays and the Thursdays. It's like things have to be put in place. So for anybody who's listening to this, and even if you're an aspiring business owner, definitely if you're a business owner and you don't have boundaries, you don't have that business mind, it takes a different version of you to be successful. All of this is fun and games while you're just hitting record, and it's not a business. Like, you just out here having fun. It's all fun and games. But at some point, somebody got to balance a checkbook and somebody got to make sure that mental health is in check.
Right. I think that's really important too, because there's a lot of people right now, to my entrepreneurs, there's a lot of people out there that want to start a business because they're talented, right? I'm good at, drawing, or I'm good at styling people's clothes, or I'm good at painting, or I'm good at making cupcakes. And that's your talent. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to run a business. That's not, they're not one and the same. They don't go together. Well, I'm going to sell cupcakes. Well, yeah, you know how to bake. You don't know how to run no business.
No, maybe you should go work at a bakery.
Right.
And
see what that's like.
Exactly. Because people also forget we need someone to work in the bakery. Everybody can't be the business owner.
Right.
Everybody can't be the entrepreneur. Everybody doesn't need to be the entrepreneur. And I'm thankful that everybody doesn't want to be the entrepreneur, because somebody has to be the good baker. Somebody has to be the person that's going to hang the hell out of them clothes. Like, somebody has to be that person to match all of it up, right? Somebody's got to do that work. And it's even in business, like having assistants and having other people to do things that are much better than you at doing them.
Right.
So it's like having that support, having an understanding that that's what you need. Like, you can't be out here just trying to do things on your own.
No, that's what I was doing. I was trying to do things on my own because I was like, I don't have money. I could just do it. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I didn't know where we were going. I didn't have this big grandiose idea. I was just like, yo, I can manage it, until it got to the point, honestly, Mo, where it wasn't fun no more.
Yeah.
It got to the point for me at one point where I was like, this is not fun. Like, I can't, it's too much for me to manage. It's good. It was good. Like, the calendar is booked. I'm doing all kinds of fun stuff. Like, it was great. But I was like, I had to realize that I needed help. I had to realize that I needed help.
That you got help in?
Huh?
What's the first piece of business? What's the first piece in your business that you got help in?
The very first piece was managing my calendar. So I no longer, I don't really book guests. Like, I booked you because it's you, but I don't manage that anymore, because it got hard chasing people around. I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it, change the calendar. I had one person, I showed up and I did their show and I was sitting there for like 2 hours. I was like, yo, y'all bugging. Like, you get an hour of my time, I gotta go. Time is money, so I had to get a manager. It was like, I need you to help manage this, because I can't send out the emails, chase the people, do all of, that kind of stuff. I don't want to do that. That part for me was like too much. So that was the first thing I did. But that wasn't the first thing I did. The first thing I did was I made a business plan, and then I pulled in the people that I knew I wanted on my team, and then I called them up and I was like, let's have dinner. That's really what happened. And we went to dinner one night, and I was just like, look, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. And I want you guys to be here with me. And I call my best friend. I call my sister, who's always with me. I call my manager, who like books my gigs for me. And it just manages everything now, really. And we all sat down at the table, and they didn't know each other, by the way. Like, I knew all of them, but they didn't know each other. You know what I mean? So they were literally almost like a bunch of strangers, with the exception from my best friend. So they didn't know each other. And I bring all these people to the table, and I'm like, yo, this is what the plan is. This is what we're going to do. This is the pieces. And I knew what I wanted each person to do.
Right.
Who's going to manage on the business end and those decisions, who's going to be my manager and manage my time, the contracts, all that kind of stuff. My sister does the events with me as like my assistant type of thing, make sure that I'm okay. So I knew who the people were and what I wanted, but I had to sit down and like plan that out and figure that out, and then have the conversations, and then was able to delegate. And also, when it's your business, it's your baby. So you have a hard time. Yeah. And I got OCD, I got PTSD. I don't know what I got, but I know that it's hard for me to just trust somebody with my baby.
Yeah. When it comes to that outsourcing part, it's like, you got OCD, PTSD, ABCD.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
And it's only because you know how you want it done.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner made me realize, like, you don't have a issue of how you want it done. You have a control issue. And you feel like you need to control every moving piece of this. And that's not how that goes. And I was like, that's very important. I'm glad that you said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Glad that you said that. But I feel you on having somebody else manage some stuff. Because even trying to keep track of all of that, or being responsible for all of that, like, the first thing that I did was, since I post on social media a lot, and since a lot of my business is drawn from social media with like ads and stuff like that, the first thing I said is, let me get somebody to answer these messages.
Right.
Like, let me outsource this part, because I'm spending a lot of time in my inbox. And with me, like, if you're going to my inbox, if you ever DM me, your first message, until I put you in like that category where don't pitch, you're getting a pitch.
Right.
Hey, I appreciate you reaching out. How can I help you with your credit? And but I didn't want to reply to that all the time. And there are automations and everything to go with it, but I really didn't want to touch that. Like, but that next thing was even having someone handle like flyers and graphics and stuff like that, because I was spending an hour making a social media post or making a flyer. And Canva, I'm a beast at Canva, but it shouldn't take me 30, 40 minutes to come up with one post.
Right.
It's too much,
Yeah.
So it's like definitely knowing your place and what you're good at. And you knew what you were good at. You knew you were the creative. So somebody else got to do all this other stuff. Right.
Yeah. Somebody else. I do all the artwork, the flyers, the editing. Could take care of that. But someone needed to manage, you take this off of me. You book the guest. I'll book who I book, but you take the bulk of that, and, the contracts and the phone calls and all of that now. But it grew to that, it grew to that. But again, it's also like being okay with asking for help and saying like, all right, if I want to be bigger and I want to be better, then I got to bring people in who are really good at certain things, like you said, and let them do what they do.
Yeah.
And be okay with that. I mean, at the end of the day, the final's still always going to go through me if it's something. Sure. But I also got to the point, I'm not going to lie to you, where I wanted to go places, like, and I would tell my sister, like, you need a can you handle that before it needs to get to me? Because I'm one of those people that if you ask me too many questions, I'm be like, yo, just give me, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
So I really needed people around me that, like, if my business ethic and my work ethic, like, I'm not saying I'm a diva. I'm not saying that. I'm saying before it gets to me, if you know that I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, just give it to me, then I need you to get in and jump on things. And I
Right.
wanted
Right.
people around me that were like that. Like, I need you to be hungry. I need
Yeah.
you to want to jump on things, so that I don't have to do it. Because if I have
Yeah.
to do it, then I don't need you here
Then
to
I
do
might
it.
as well do it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's really about finding people that like, yo, go handle that. Like, you know what
Right.
I would think, you know me well as a person, or when you come to run it by me, it better be in bullet points, but figure it out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
And it's got to be not even from the
yeah,
point of like, can you do it or not, or can you make that decision? But because my attention span ain't that long, so
that that definitely that too.
explaining something to me, and it's like, well, yeah, but I lost you, after your first 30 seconds.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Do I need
and
to know all this? Do I need this? So
yeah,
I think that's all important, like gathering the people around. But
right.
it's been an interesting ride. It's been a very interesting ride. You learn a lot. Like, I could tell somebody, I went in this not knowing how to start a business at all.
Mm,
And I can tell you
mm,
right now how to get your LLC, your tax ID number, your business bank
mhm,
account.
mhm.
We just got approved from I'm in New York, so New York State Women's Business Enterprise and Minority Owned Enterprise. Like, so I could like really tell someone, okay, what do you want to do? You want to start a drop shipping? I could tell you how drop shipping works because I had
Yeah,
to teach myself. I think that's
right.
what a lot of people don't know about me. Like, all of this that they see, they're like, oh wow, how did you do it? Bro, this
You
is
talk
this is my
yourself.
one piece of advice to everybody out there. If you want something, you gotta go get it. You got to go get it. And I
Yeah,
would
definitely got
go
to go get it.
and Google and read and research and be like, I'm going to the library. I'm going to Google this place. I'm going to call this place. I remember starting the lingerie line and I just called. Let me tell you how I started the lingerie line. I was dealing with this dude
Yeah,
and he bought me some lingerie and it was still in the package. I just flipped over the box and I was like, I'm going to go straight to wherever the hell you got this from. And that's what I did. And I called them up and I was like, I want to place a wholesale order. And she was like, you got to send me your sales tax, whatever. I was like, I'm going to call you back.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
Googled the sales tax thing and it was like, you got to apply online. We'll mail it to you. And I was like, I bet I'm going to get it in a week. And in a week, I called a lady back and she was like, fax it over to, like, that's what it was like starting
mm,
this. It was like, I
yeah,
don't know what she just said, but I'm going to go find out. And I had to
yeah,
teach myself, like, I want t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. But it was COVID. But I was like, I'm gonna have to go back to work. We ain't pressing no t-shirts in this house. It's just me and my son. So I had to learn what drop shipping was. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I learned what drop shipping was. All right, let's
yeah.
go get a whole bunch of stuff. We brought it to the house in a duffel bag. And we like open everything, see how it feels, see what we like. We're gonna get this, we're not gonna get that. And
Mhm,
then set it up the way they told us to set it up. You gotta put your bank account, people order it, whatever. I make what
mhm.
$4 on a shirt. It's not even worth the money for me, but I want people to have it.
Yeah,
But it was about like, if you want to do something, like I would literally be on my computer day and night, like every free minute. It would sleep right next to me, and I'd be like, tomorrow, this is
yeah.
what we're gonna work on. Like, you have to have some ethic behind your work if you want it to work, or it don't work.
It don't work. It don't work. Work don't work unless you work.
Yeah,
Right? It don't work.
yeah.
And it's like the ability to learn how to figure it out. Like we had this
Mm-hmm.
conversation all the time, my partner and I, where we have the luxury, it's a luxury to be able to figure shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who has to ask somebody for permission for every step of their life, that shit gonna be bad real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you have to have permission or direction for every single thing. It's like
Right.
somebody got to guide you over here. Somebody got to tell you to look this up. When you can just go look it up. You
Yeah.
can just go do the work, or
Right.
you can pay somebody to go do the work, right? But we no longer have the luxury of saying we don't know how,
Right.
because you can just figure it out.
Yeah.
And even when you can't figure it out or you don't have the resources to figure it out, you got to go hire somebody that can figure it out for
Mm-hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we have clients who say, "Hey, okay, I need help with my credit, but I don't want to pay anybody."
Well, what are you doing here?
Well, yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy for you. And you don't. As a matter of fact, you don't have to pay anybody. However, if you didn't have to pay anybody, it wouldn't have got this bad. Right.
Right.
Or like, because when my credit used to be like in the 400s or something. So, and it was because I didn't know how. I
Right.
didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what it was, what I was supposed to be doing with it. But when I got to the point where I needed it, then I was like, well, how do I do this?
Right.
And through resources, Google, right? YouTube University, podcasts, right? Like pick up a book. We have everything we need. We just have to
Mm-hmm.
know where to look for it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of knowing where to look for it, it's just going to be typing it in.
Mm-hmm.
Siri, how do you, or, whatever, Google, what is, and then you go from there. But between those two resources right there, you always have a good starting point. So for
Yeah.
anybody who's listening, you already have a head start because if you're listening to this, you literally have more technology in your hand now than anybody had 25 years ago.
Right.
And some magical shit went on then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't even
So
gotta leave your house now. You don't gotta leave
you
your
don't have
house.
to leave your
You
house now.
just gotta type it in there and look and read and understand and figure it out. And if you like puzzles, like I like stuff like that. I do
Yeah.
understand there's some people that don't like it and they're just like, I'd rather not do it. And that's fine. You pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody has a job. But I feel like for the people that are like, I want to start a business, I think you almost gotta do a physical for yourself and be like,
Yeah.
okay, how dedicated am I at? How much can I do on my own?
Yeah.
Where am I willing to sacrifice? Where am I not willing? Where am I willing to invest?
Right.
Because
Ooh,
everybody
ooh,
wants
ooh,
something for
ooh,
nothing.
ooh, ooh, ooh. Where am I willing to invest? How much
Mm-hmm.
am I willing to invest? What type of
Mm-hmm.
return on investment am I looking at? Like,
Yeah.
am I okay with not recouping my investment right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because there's a whole lot of stuff that I've done for my business that I haven't seen the return on yet.
No.
And I won't see the return on it for years.
Right. Right.
So it's like what's your, other than your time, like what's your best investment you've made in your business thus far?
Best
Mm-hmm.
I would say equipment or just in general. Piece of equipment.
Yeah, even it doesn't matter.
The best investment I made, that's a good one.
While you think about it, let me give you mine.
Okay.
Like the best investment that I made was just making sure I had a reliable computer.
Yeah, I was gonna say my computer, but I don't know because my favorite piece. I don't know if it's the best investment, but my favorite piece is so I use a Rodecaster Pro to record my mixer. I love my mixer. I feel like we should just be together. And like I don't want nobody touching it. Like this is my favorite piece of podcasting equipment. My favorite piece of like my biggest investment. And I got them before. I don't have the new one that came out. I got the old school one and I still love it. I just want the new one because it's cute. But this is my favorite piece of equipment and a big purchase. But I think and then the computer. So I did I had people donated to me. They're wonderful. And I was able to get an iMac desktop maybe like 5 years ago, a couple months after I started, so that I could put it into the Rodecaster Pro so we could set up the studio. Because when I started, I was recording on my phone. Yeah. So but it moved. It was like, I'm on my phone. Then I went to my laptop. And then I started, messing with different mics and having, ordered a couple different mics from Amazon. I had a couple of the cool ones, and then I was like, all right, we're gonna go a little bit bigger and get this Rodecaster Pro and this desktop, and we're gonna do a thing.
Yeah. That's like having I didn't realize, like, when I had what's the tablet? It was the Surface. I had a Surface laptop, and I thought it was cool because I could travel with it. And I'm like, it can be my tablet and it can be my computer, and I can watch Netflix on it when I travel, and it was all cool until I needed to transfer a picture from my phone to my computer, and it was a pain in the neck. And I was like, okay. So finally went, and I was determined for the longest. I wasn't spending that much money on a MacBook, right?
Mhm.
Like determined. I don't need to spend $2,000 on a laptop. I don't need to do that, right? But then I spent $2,000 on a laptop,
Yeah.
and I figured out why it's $2,000. And
Yeah.
I figured out why Apple is like they are masters at marketing because
Yeah.
they knew what I needed before I
Mhm.
needed it.
Mhm.
And it's like the way that it's easy for me to get work done, right?
Right.
Like I'm sure you felt the same thing. Like you could do it on your phone,
Mhm.
right? You could do it
Mhm.
on your laptop,
Yeah.
but the ease of use for it to
Mhm.
make, like, we got to figure out things that are going to take the hurdle out of what we got to do, right? We
Right.
got to, if it's a speed bump, hold on for a second. Let me move the speed bump. Let me flatten this thing out. So even if it means a piece of equipment, right? Because
Mhm.
you could have got another mixer. You could have got a cheap mixer.
Yeah. No, I was like, nope. We're gonna go to the real place where they sell the audio equipment. Like, we're not going to Best Buy. We're gonna go to the audio equipment store where the movie people go to and the music people go to, and we're gonna order it from there. But people also have to be willing to invest in themselves. You know, a lot of time people want to start a business, they just want to make the money, and you don't understand. Like, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. And I tell people all the time, if you won't put your money on you, why you don't expect nobody else to put their money on you? Like, I'm gonna bet my money on me all the time because I know what I'm gonna yield in the end. Like, yo, why would I bet on somebody else when I can bet on myself? But you have to understand, if you're not willing to invest in your business, then you can't expect somebody else to invest in your business. You have to be all in.
That's right. That's right. Like, think about this. So when you're going, and like you just said, you got your certification for minority woman-owned business in New York. They wouldn't have gave you that if you didn't have your LLC set up correctly.
Mhm.
If you didn't have address, phone number, proof
Oh yeah,
that
it
this
was
is
a
actually.
rigorous application. They kept coming back. We need
Yep.
this. We need this. We need a bank statement. We need this. We need this. We need to fill out this form. Fill out that form. It was very. It took a couple months.
Yeah.
This need to
You
be
gotta have
notarized. This need to be notarized. This need to be notarized.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to give you anything if you haven't given yourself something.
Right.
So even like setting up businesses for clients are like, well, why do I need all of this? And why do I need, and it's because you're going to ask the bank for money at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to say, hey, bank, I need $100,000 because I need to invest in a piece of equipment, or I need a car, or whatever it is that you're needing for your business. The bank is going to want to see that you actually took the time to spend a couple $100s to get your LLC.
Right.
To make sure that you had a working business line, to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you had a business address. They want to know all of that, right? They want to know that you put in a couple $100s for yourself to ask them for a couple $1,000.
Right.
Right.
And like,
And that's
establish your business like a real business. Like, it has its own entity.
Yeah.
And so, I listen, let me tell you how much research I did. I'm trying to buy a company car. I went and looked up what cars you can buy in your business name. And did you know that it's a weight minimum? They have the cars have to be a certain weight, I think.
For you to write them off on your taxes.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. All right. So here's what you can do. Like right now, if you have a 700 credit score, if you have an established business that has your LLC set up, a separate business address, separate business phone number, right? And you can show that you've been in business for somewhere around 4 to 5 months, Bank of America will give you 4 auto loans.
Wow. So you can have a fleet.
Yes. That's how you have people who are doing Turo with all these different cars and stuff like that, because they're fixing their personal credit. They're going to the bank and they're saying, hey, bank, I want to not get the G-Wagon, not get the Rover, right? Because those are gross weight vehicles that have better tax benefits, right? So it lowers the amount of money that you're responsible for at the end of the tax year. However, those vehicles you do not have to have, like, you can go and get a Camry off of the business. You can go and get a Camry off the business name. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to write all of it off. but the expenses of it, the getting it, using your business information, you're able to do all of that just by having your business structured correctly.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people don't know. They don't know how to do that, and they don't want to pay somebody to do it. But really, you're protecting your assets.
Right.
I think you don't see it like that. It's like, oh, I don't want to spend all that money. But like in the long run, you're protecting your assets. You're protecting your company because you're protecting yourself. Like being an LLC and being an incorporation, not God forbid somebody sue you.
Yeah.
So I think people or even credit wise, like this is the businesses and this is mine. So I think people need to understand that, like, you're creating this entity that is going to thrive on its own. You have to make it be able to stand on its own and do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to start a business, and then they just make cupcakes, like you said. It's like, all right, this is cool, but this is your hobby. Yeah. This ain't no business.
Right. That's right. So,
and that's okay. If that's what you want to do, that's okay. I'm just saying that there's a lot of benefits if you're someone that wants to be an entrepreneur and starting a business that could benefit you.
But you can't be out here telling people you're a business owner and you ain't willing to put no skin in the game. You can't be out here telling people that, right? You can't be out here telling people that you're the entrepreneur because, like, not even, no bullshit. The internet has made entrepreneurship look sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not.
Everything. It's like, not.
It's not sexy. Like, there's nothing sexy about entrepreneurship, right? Do you get to make your own schedule? Absolutely. You work most of the time. So,
like I said earlier, you're like, yo, I don't want to work, but the work is coming in, so I have to work.
Yep. And they make it like, and it's because the people online show you the wins. They don't show up in the middle of the night. They don't show when I'm sitting in the middle of in the middle of the floor, drawing out my next program. They don't show the 2-hour long Zoom call that I had with my marketing guy this morning because I don't even know what the hell is going on sometimes. And they don't show the part where you're sweating because you got payroll coming up and it's like, I don't know, right? They're not showing that, but they'll show the vacation, the rented cars, the rented house. And I'm not saying that's all of them, right? But I know some of these people in real life, right? I know some of your favorite social media people on real life, and that's not their car, that's not their house. Right. So don't make no mistake about it. It takes work.
Yeah.
It takes work. You got to put skin in the game, but you also have to structure that thing correctly. Right. Like going even to the car, there are some things that you can do with your business that you would never be able to do personally. Like, for instance, with even like credit. Can we talk about credit? Let's talk about credit.
Yeah, let's talk about credit. That's what you do.
Let's talk about credit. So you can have business credit and you can get business credit without building your personal credit. However, it's really, really hard, right? It takes 4 or 5 months. You have to build out your profile, build up your accounts and everything, but you can do it. But if you take time and get just a few months and get your personal credit in line, you can walk into any bank with a structurally sound business, and they'll give you the bag, right? And usually it's interest free for like a year, 18 months or something like that.
That's what we all need to do. We all need to start a business.
We all need to start a business.
We all need to start a business.
Wait a minute. We don't all need to start a business.
Okay, maybe not all of us, but maybe not all of us.
Because Monica 5 years ago did not need to start a business. I had no business starting a business because my first year in business, I was hell, like all kinds of stuff. And it was just because
I think that's how you learn. You think that even if I hand you all the paperwork and you go do it, like you still gonna have to learn. It's one of those things like riding a bike. Like you gonna have to do it.
You're gonna have to do it.
You need to feel it because you gotta learn. I feel like have this conversation with you now because of everything that we kind of like went through to get here. But you got to go through, because people just want a business and, it's thriving, I'm making money. Like, no, that's you.
That was the problem. That was the
cursed out, sleepless nights, payroll. I need checks, this, that, like you have to go through it to learn. And I think that's also why I was thinking about the cars when you said, because I was like, I want a new car, but I also know now that I'm a business owner, I manage my money, my personal money and my business money a lot different than before.
Yeah.
Like things that I'd be like, nah, I just told someone the other day, I was like, I'm never buying a brand new car again. Because it's going to depreciate as soon as I walk off the lot. And it's crazy because I'm a business owner and you make more money than maybe somebody else. And now I don't want the things that somebody else wants. That's the crazy thing. Like I want to walk in the dealership and buy a brand new car. And I'm like, yo, I'm never buying a brand new car again. I'll buy a good, nice used car, but I'm never buying a brand new car again because the depreciation value as soon as it rolls off the lot is I'm losing money.
That's right.
So you start thinking like a whole different kind of person because you're like, yo, is this a benefit or not a benefit? Well, it's a liability. We don't want no more liabilities, or we don't want liabilities where we lose.
For every liability, you need an asset, right? So if you're going to have a car, you need another car that pays for that car, or you need to have a play for your business that is going to pay for that. So I advise my clients, when you're getting one car, you need to go ask for 2 car loans. Because one of those cars needs to be on some type of network to be able to make money so that you can pay for your other car.
Right.
Because at the rate, like car interest rates right now are bananas.
Yeah.
And loan interest rates right now ain't that great either. Right. Mortgage rates and we can talk about that too. Like the mortgage rate, some people talking about it's not time to buy and all that stuff. But either way, you need something to be able to pay for that. Because right now, where a $20,000 car, you can't hardly get a car for $20,000 right now.
Right.
Let's say a $40,000 car. A $40,000 car is going to be $700 or $800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't have $700 or $800 a month that's disposable for them to get a car.
Right.
So you need something that's going to be able to say, hey, get you a little $20,000 car. Let somebody rent it out from you for $300 a week, and you pay the car payment on that $20,000 car and your car, or at least it helps out a whole hell of a lot.
Right. Supplement all of that income.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's you have to be able, because the economy is where it is and things are more expensive. It's no longer like, let's cut out Netflix out of the budget. Let's cut out Starbucks out of the budget, because that $20 and that $5 a day drink is not going to make a damn bit of difference at the end of the month. It's really not. Right. You just have to figure out a way to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that, oh, okay, well, a tire is going to get cheaper. A tire is not going to get cheaper.
I don't think anything's going to get cheaper. Like everybody's like, oh, gas prices is going to go down. They not going down. And I'm going to tell you why they're not going down, y'all. It's not because the price of gas to the United States or the gas that we have here is not going down and cheaper. It's because it's supply and demand. Once we know that we could get $3.50, $4, $5 a gallon, $6, $10, $8 for damn eggs. Once we hit those markers, nobody's going to be like, okay, let's go drop the price and drop our profit. Nobody's going to do that.
Nope.
Nobody's going to do that. And once I got people to already pay for it.
Yep. That's it. That means I got proof of concept.
They can beef all they want. They still paying for it.
They're going to pay. They're going to pay.
I mean, we got to buy gas. If you got a car and it ain't electric, you got to buy gas.
What you going to do? You going to sit there and look at the gas tank? You're going to buy the gas. You're going to figure that shit out. You're going to buy that. You're going to figure it out.
So I feel like some things it's just like people are like, oh, well, it'll get better. I mean, it might. I think we also live in a world where, the cost of living is going up at 10, 12%, and your salary, you're only going up about 3%. So we're not matching what's happening.
Nope.
And that's really also why it's getting a wider and wider and wider. You want to give 3%, 6% raise, and then the cost of living is going up 10, 20, 15, 20%.
Yeah.
for the cost of eggs or a price. Chicken used to be cheap.
Yeah.
Like we used to eat chicken because it was cheap. You could get a pack of chicken for $2.
Not
Now you go in
anymore.
the supermarket. I want to make some buffalo wings. I was like, why is this like $10 for wings that you cut up? Like this don't make no sense.
Yeah.
So and I think once these people start making money and people are still buying it, they're not going to lower the price.
They are. It's the reason why cars are so expensive, because somebody said, let's make like I got a client who was paying $800 a month for a Hyundai. And I'm like, you can't even make that make sense.
Right.
But somebody at Hyundai said they're going to pay $50,000 for this car. And somebody bought it for $50,000. So then they tested it and said, oh, well, let's sell this one for $55,000. Somebody bought it. As long as there's a testable market for something that you raise the price on, the prices are going to keep going up. Right? It's the same thing with like home buying. People say, oh, okay, it's not the time to buy a house right now. The interest rates are high. Well, here's the problem with that. When the interest rate does go back down, the interest rates are more than likely going to go down this year, right? But when the interest rates go back down, the housing costs more.
Right.
So are you really winning?
Right. And and you can't negotiate then. You have no negotiation power.
No.
Yeah.
So you're always going to, it's either the house costs a lot more and the interest rate is low, or the interest rate is high and the house costs a little less.
Yeah.
But
I always tell people about buying houses. I used to work in the mortgage industry, and somebody said this to me once. They said that this all the land that God made. This is all we got. We ain't going to get no more land. This is all we got. So if you could own a piece of it, you better own a piece of it. So that was the first thing. Second thing, and now I'm gonna get in on y'all. For Black and brown people, it is so hard sometimes for us to come up with the money, the deposit, the credit, all of these things that we really need to be mindful when we're purchasing and selling what our intentions are. Because you selling grandmama house, but you can't get it back. And I don't mean get it back because it's in bad condition. I mean get it back because it's an asset for you and your family. Right? So you need to think about that when we're talking about, oh, we just get it, because they're making it so hard for us to be able to attain some things, right? That we need to be mindful of, like, should I get rid of this or should I not get rid of it? Could I turn this into an investment property? Is this worth renovating? Is this neighborhood going up? Before we just quick to be like, because, it's not that easy to replace it when you think about it.
That's right. That's right. And it's like also because we put ourselves in these weird positions where we don't really take care of our credit.
Right.
It's because nobody taught us.
Nope.
Nobody taught us how to manage money.
No.
Nobody taught us how to balance a checkbook. Nobody taught us how to handle a credit card. Nobody taught us how to fill out an application. Right. Nobody taught us that. So because we have such trauma-induced past around our finances, when we get to the point where we got to make a decision, we fumble in the bag, right? Because we don't even know what to do, how to get it, who to talk to, what resources.
Or we taking advice from people that don't know either.
And it's because those are the only people around us. So when we're considering, even like you made an important point right there about advice, like you can't be asking people for advice and on how to get down the street when they've never left their front yard. Right.
And then those are the people in your ear, and you're like, I wouldn't have done that. That's not but I think it's also about people, like we said earlier, even with running a business, buying home, it's like, educate yourself. Don't wait. You gotta go read a book. You know what I mean? Do some research, read an article, talk to somebody, because I think that this idea that everybody knows everything it's hurting you. Like go and arm yourself with the tools that you need to be successful. And if you need help, then go get help. But you can't sit here and say, arguing with people about what's right and what's wrong if you haven't done the work to even educate yourself and learn. And it's difficult, but it's not impossible.
No.
It's not impossible, because I used to work subprime lending. So I know it's not impossible.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For years. That's what I did before I went to radio. I was a wholesale lender. I was an account executive, and I did wholesale sales for subprime mortgage. I was account manager and then went to account executive, so I could underwrite a loan with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And then I went and got my real estate license, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do something with this. And then the market tanked, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna tap out. But I know that this is something people can do, and there's programs available. You just have to, again, be able to go out there and get the information that you need. There's HUD, there's NACA, there's all kinds of things, but you gotta want to do it.
Some stuff out here. It's some stuff out here. And the first thing is like, get your credit together, right? Get your credit together, because we never think about fixing our credit until we need our credit, right? I've talked to too many people who, when I'm saying like, what's your next big move? Oh, I need to buy a car. My car just broke down. But your score is in the 400s or 500s, right? So you can't wait until you need your credit to fix your credit, because it's going to be too late. You know, you can't wait to try to use your business credit when you need your business credit, because at that point, like you're going to be sitting on the back burner waiting, right? So everyone who is listening, I encourage you to get your finances together, right? Know how much money you have coming in your house. Know how much money you have going out your house. And I say this all the time, like, count your money, because the times that I didn't know how much money I had, that's when I was as broke as I could be. And it's because I didn't know, you know. So make sure you know how much money is coming in and coming in your house. Make sure you know how much money is going out your house. And if your finances really jacked up like mine were, make sure you're writing everything down. Write every dollar you spend down, you know. Like there are some times now where I won't stop at the store or I won't buy something because I know I got to write it down.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and you get to the point where you got enough stuff. You get to the point where you got enough, like whatever your vice is. Mine is shoes, you know? So like, but you get to the point where you have enough to where you figure out like, you know what, let me go ahead and pivot. Let me go ahead and figure out something else. Let me go ahead and make plans for whatever this is that's next that I want to do. But I encourage everyone who is listening, make sure you got a plan for yourself. Like, don't wait until grandma's gone, mama gone, dad gone, and now you're sitting there holding your hands because you don't know what to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
Fix your credit.
Fix your credit.
Or even if it doesn't, and some people will say it doesn't need fixing. For those people, I would say, because there's a lot of people also who don't have any established credit. So I would also give Mo a call for that, because some people, you don't have bad credit, but you don't have any credit. And the reality is we live in a country where everything is credit based. I think a lot of people don't know that, like you said, until they need it. You want to go rent an apartment, they pull in your credit. You want to buy a car, they pull in your credit. You need car insurance, they pull in your credit, right? I used to work at a bank. I didn't even need no money from y'all. I just wanted to work here. You know what they did? They fingerprinted me and pulled my credit because it speaks to your character sometimes. Some companies do that. So you really, this is not just about building a business or buying a house or a car. This is also making your life more comfortable and accessible for you so that you can have the things you want and do the things that you need to do, because it's going to be, you're going to get jammed up somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's inevitable that it happens, right? And it's not even if it happens, it's a when it happens, because every business owner, every person, like, I don't know anybody who hasn't struggled, right? I don't know anybody who hasn't had to go through something to get where they are right now. And thankfully, like, I'm so grateful and thankful for those times, because that was the training ground, right? But we have the ability to teach other people, and other people have the ability to learn from us. Like, when you're podcasting and when I'm listening to your show, I'm learning a life lesson as well. People have the tools, people have the resources. Like, you don't have to be out here just making things tough for yourself, because at this point, when you're choosing some of this stuff, like, you're really out here just choosing this stuff. If you're choosing not to take good care of your money, if you're choosing not to be a good steward over what you already got, then you're choosing that. Not because you have to, but because you're really out here choosing that. Yeah. So those are those decisions that later on you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I had like kept a track of how much money I was spending. Like, I really wish I was listening to Kay when she was talking about, what, like I listen and you have these wild ass divorce stories, like I really wish I was listening to Kay when she was talking about those divorce stories, so it's like you have those tools. So right now, like lock in with people who are doing the things that you want and need to do.
Right.
If you know somebody who is in real estate, lock in with somebody who's in real estate. If you know somebody who you're trying to become a mechanic, lock in with the mechanic, but stop asking the mailman how to be a mechanic.
Right. That part. And do the work. Don't wait for them to tell you everything. Because somebody said to me the other day, I just want to pick your brain.
Oh, please tell me what you said, because I know what I say. Please tell me what you said.
That my student loans said that you can't pick my brain because it's not free.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I said my student loans are said that you can't pick, because people are like, oh, I just want to pick your brain. I don't need anything. I don't want to have to pay for it. And I'm like, but it costs me.
Yeah,
it costs me. Yeah. It costs me. I posted something that said, time and money are my currency.
Yeah.
So if it take my time away from my kids, away from my life, or whatever I'm doing, my time, and then my student loan said it's currency. So I didn't just learn it to give it away to you for nothing. I had to invest in that. Whether I invested my time or I invested my money, I invested in that. Now you want me to give you what I invested in for nothing. Would you do that? Would you do that? Would you give me something you invested in for nothing?
But that shit's so common, Kay. Like, and I get it. Like, I hear it all the time too. Like, oh, Mo, I'm just starting my credit repair company. Let me pick your brain. Man, I have to start sending invoices. I'm sorry.
Because like, you're paying for information that took me time, effort, money, and an investment to get. I didn't just get it out of nowhere. I either went to school, did the research, did the hard work, or I had an experience that taught me something. Either way you put it, I invested something in this. You don't want to invest in it, because if you just want to pick my brain, you don't want to invest in it.
Nope. If you want to pick my brain, that comes with an invoice.
That's what it is. Like, I want to pick your brain on how I could do it. And it's just like, yo, you want me to tell you how to do it for nothing. But it costs me to learn how to do it.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's not fair. And we gotta learn how to go in and be of service. Like, I mean, even when I slid in your inbox, I said, like, I think I phrased the question as, what do I need to do?
Right.
Not what you gonna do for me. Like, what do I need to do?
Right.
Like, you tell me what I need to do. Right.
Yeah.
And we forget that people take time, the money, the energy, right? The space to build.
Yeah.
And for you to feel like you have the authority to even come in the house and not wipe your feet and sit your ass on the couch, like, you ain't offer nothing. Like, you ain't bring nothing.
Nope.
You ain't bring a bottle of wine. You ain't bring
nothing.
You ain't bring a t-shirt. You ain't bring nothing.
Right.
Nothing to the table. You bringing nothing. Like, but just remember this when y'all going into these business relationships, when y'all get in these personal relationships, these friendships, these situationships, like, don't forget, as much as we expect other people to bring something to the table, don't forget that you got to bring something to the table too.
I hate this table conversation because I feel like it's stupid. I feel like two people together is a partnership. If you don't want to be my partner, then you can't be here, because it's a partnership. This idea, both on the side of women, men, whoever it is, like, yo, I want to show up and don't bring nothing. Or all I'm going to bring is my body. I'm not going to bring nothing else. Well, I'm going to treat your body like I treat that car that's high mileage and going to depreciate. What else you got? What else you got?
They sell bodies all day long.
Because they sell bodies. There's 100 of them outside. There's not a lot of value. It's like going to the dollar store. It's not really a lot of value in body no more. We could all get one if we want one. Yeah. What else you got?
That's it.
That's going to depreciate, because in 10 years, you ain't going to look like that. Your ass going to look like that, but the rest of your face not going to look like that. So what else you got?
Yeah. What else you get? What else you bringing? Can we
So
have a
I
conversation?
think we need to. I told my parents the other day. I was talking to them? I was talking to someone. And I know this sounds real racist of me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I said I feel like people of color are the only group of people that don't understand that marriage is not just a piece of paper or your relationship, but it is a way to help you financially move where you want to move, and that's why other groups of people be kind of like moving a little faster.
That's right.
When they do an arranged marriage, that girl probably don't like that, and that boy don't probably like that. I'm gonna give them that. But their parents are very have intent to give them a better life, to have a certain social class, to move up the entire family. Like, when you can imagine if somebody else picks someone for you because they're picking from a place of like, where is this going to go and get you? Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're trying to, move their family up. They join their businesses together, things of that nature. We don't do that. When you have two people in the household, that's two incomes coming in the house. That right there is like,
that makes sense.
Rent $3,000, and there's two of y'all. That $1,500 piece versus the rent $3,000, and there's one of y'all. Like, come on now, economically. If you really wanted to, and I'm not saying just be with anybody. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we also need to be looking at it like, well, what do you bring to the table? Like, yo, bro, we about to build a table. Like, I'm gonna bring my plates, you bring your forks, I'm gonna bring my food, you bring your food, and then we gonna hook the table up. We're not, as a society, we're not doing that.
Nope.
There's people sitting at the table with their hand out.
Yep. And it's because they're saying, oh, well, I love them.
Okay, but we can't eat that. What we gonna eat?
We can't eat love. That's not enough. That is not enough.
What we gonna eat? Enough. What do you bring? This is not just like, I don't understand that concept from both parties. I don't understand that. Like, I just don't understand that concept from both parties. Like, we would move so much more further if we work together instead of people just constantly breaking each other down.
That's right.
Whether it be your friends, your family, or your relationships, we would move so much more economically. Like, you know this. Two people are married and they need to fix your credit, but one of them has good credit and one of them doesn't. Like, yo, y'all still being able to help each other.
Yeah.
And move that along. But if you just like, I just don't understand why we're not looking at it from a place of like, this is an investment for our futures, and this is something that we could do to prosper. And I'm not saying be with someone for money. I'm saying that this is also a vehicle.
It has
to help you.
Sense. Yeah, it's got to make sense.
Benefits.
It's a business arrangement, right? Yeah. Like, let's take all jokes aside. Like, it's a business arrangement.
It is
business arrangement. It means I love you so much, I'm gonna get the government involved,
right? And they're gonna tax us on it. They're gonna tax us on it. They're gonna take
and it's like, I haven't even, like, my partner now, she's been married before, but I've never been married, and I've never been married for that reason. Like, I've loved, and I've loved hard, and I've loved well and been loved well, but I've never gotten to that point where I'm like, well, I can see where you're going to add to my business, and I'm going to be able to add to you.
But that's what you got to think about, Mo. Because for me, I'm in a place in my life right now where I'm like, well, what would be the benefit?
There you go.
I'm at a place. I've had a home before. I don't necessarily want one. I do want to buy a house, but I don't necessarily need one, right? Yeah. But I had a home before. I have a nice car. I have a good job. I have a pension. Like, so for me, it would be like, well, what? I ain't having no more kids. So what would really be the benefit for me?
What we doing? Yeah, what we doing here?
Because you could just throw me the ring and I'll just be your wife. Like, I don't need all that. Yeah. Right. So you got to really think, like, is there a benefit for you, both of you, not just for her or for him? Like, is there a benefit for both of you doing this, or are you better off not? Because some people are better off not, believe it or not. Some people are well established. Credit is good. Everything's going well. They have investments. They have savings. They have pension. And the other person got all that too. And we still together and we still love each other. But the way things are good for both of us and it's beneficial to both of us. And sometimes we put that together and now we make too much money. We're getting taxed at a higher rate where it's not a benefit. Right.
You remember where we used to draw these little charts and they look like this. Oh, wait, wait.
Yeah, T-chart.
We need a
It's a
T-chart.
T-chart.
Like, we need a T-chart.
Yeah.
And you got to make this make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, and having that T-chart going into these relationships, like, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Write on the list, you know, and if that makes sense list has more on it, cool. If the don't make sense list has more on it, you already know what it is.
And that doesn't
And
define your relationship. That it does not define your relationship with somebody. I know a woman that her first spouse passed away, and so she was getting a death benefit. For years. You get it till the kids grow up, and she met somebody else. She did not marry that somebody else, and they were together forever afterwards. You know,
it didn't make sense for them.
It didn't make sense for her. She got her death benefit. She take care of kids. She had a good job. He had a good job. He took care of her. And when the kids all got old enough, and the benefit was over, then they got married.
There you go. It had to make sense.
And it worked, it works out. And they've been together. They've been together 30 years maybe. But they were like, nope, we're going to wait till all these kids, we're going to wait till my two older kids from the first dad that passed away are old enough to go to college and all of those kinds of things. And once they're up and out, then we'll get married. And that's what they did. And it worked out for them.
I love that. I love that. That's the perfect story right there. Like,
they weren't going nowhere.
Yeah. Do things that make sense.
Yeah. They did things that make sense, and it worked for them. So I think it's a matter of what works for you. But I do think that you got to look at like the benefits. And if you're really with someone and you're like, this is not going to work for me, you got to really dig deeper and be like, why? Because a person, I was talking to my daughter the other day about financial abuse. She was talking about like credit and money, and I was talking about financial abuse. Like there's people that are in relationships where they're being abused. And they don't realize they're being abused because they don't have a black eye. But if you were with somebody and they ruining your credit, they taking your money, they taking your debit card, they got things in your name, then, potentially, if it becomes to the point where it's like, I'm not just doing you one favor, but this is constantly happening, then yes, people end up in places where they're being financially abused and don't even know that.
That's right.
And that's hard to recover from.
Yeah, because that becomes normal.
Yeah, but that's not normal. Don't do that.
It's not.
Don't do that to people. Don't do
but
that.
It comes from like a place where you got to know what you gonna do and what you're not gonna do, and what you feel like is okay and what you don't feel like is okay. And then just even going into a relationship from the point of where you've been before and understanding you didn't like it when you bent like that. Like, I ain't like it when I made that move in my relationship. I'm not going to do that shit again. And really come up with laws for yourself. And I learned that listening to my therapist. Like, what are your laws? Where you know what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. And you know what you're going to do for you and what you're not going to do for you. Right? So if you know what you're not going to do for you, don't let other people do that to you.
Right.
If you know that you're not trying to mess up your credit, don't let other people mess up your credit.
Right.
If you know that you're not even trying to just be swiping your debit card for anything, swiping your credit cards for anything, driving your car all crazy, don't let nobody else do it.
No. And I think a lot of people also, like you said, nobody taught us that about managing our money. It's also having conversations with your partner about money. Like there are some people that are really great with it. And I've heard stories where they're like, oh yeah, we do a monthly check-in and we go over our budget and we have a joint account. And then we put in the bill money in there. And then we had 3 months in our emergency savings. And I've heard really great stories. And then I've also heard stories where it's just like, I don't know what they're doing. They don't know what I'm doing. I handle this, they handle that, but it's not getting done. And they're not really going into these situations or situationships, relationships, whatever, being able to have a fluid conversation about money. And I think that's important because a lot of people end up miserable and don't quite understand why. And then it's like, did you have the conversation? And it's like, well, I don't know how to have a conversation. You might have to come back and we have a podcast about that.
Oh, money conversations. Because I'll tell y'all about how, like, as a matter of fact, my conversation with my partner was scheduled just before this podcast, right? And we were talking, and we had just wrapped up a good conversation about our finances, because it's the end of the, it's the beginning of a new month. So we had to talk about like what you got going on, and just making sure you had that communication. So I'm down with it. Like, let's run it back and come back and have these relationships.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, because I feel like there's people that they don't know how to have those conversations, and they need to know how, and they need to know that in the routines of those type of things. So you're gonna have to come back, and we're gonna have a conversation about how people in relationships can talk about money. Like, how do you open up those conversations, and what are some of the things that they can do to be able to work together to make it work? Because like I said, I know different people do different things. I know one person who's like, one person pays this set of bills, the other person pays that set of bills. I know another person that's like, well, she's good at it. Mm-hmm. So she, I just give her X amount of dollars and she takes care of, and all of it is good. But it's just like telling, like you said, learning something, like what are the options that you have, and then how do you have those conversations so you can pick one of those options.
Mm-hmm. I'm down for it. I didn't even realize we had been talking for a while.
Yeah, we definitely gonna do that. Well, Mo, tell everybody where they can find you.
So I can be found on all social media platforms at Mo the Closer. That's MOE the Closer. And if you send me a DM, I got something special for you that we're not releasing until probably about a week from now. But if you send me a message, I'm gonna show you how to repair your credit for free. So send me a message, tell me Karen L sent you, and I got you.
For real. I love that. Thank you so much, Mo.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you.